All right. Once again, I'm going to say, glad you found me. I'm digging. This is the vibe. And I will begin by stating I was, I wasn't in front of my laptop for a couple of days. I wasn't on the internet for a couple of days. Um, and man, I really needed it. I really, really needed it. Because I find um, that my heart is feeling such a strain. I had to take some time out and just nurture it by totally and completely relaxing and trusting that all is as it should be. But being human and all, you know, um, we can't help doing so. And I think that's a shortcoming that human beings have. And that is, we, we don't like to wait on things. We don't like for things, you know, to take its full time and present itself. So we can do one or two things, either, or three things, really. Either control it, that would be one of them. And being that you can't control events or other people's actions, realistically, you know, controlling by planning. You can have short term goals, you can have short plans, you can even have a 10-year plan. But you're going to find that if you're living and breathing, life has this way of putting things in front of you in order for you to experience what your soul needs to experience because you chose this. And I'm not saying that, I'm saying that I should say in a meaningful way that you did choose this. And that goes back to, if you've checked out any of my videos, you'll understand this. And if you haven't, I'm not going to explain it. Check out the other videos. This here, what this channel is intended for, is to make you think, is to make you go, is to even shock you, whatever it's going to take in any present moment, is to experience and interact. And interacting is part of the experiences as well. Hence, I'm pretty sure I'll use this. Um, um, Jacob's ladder. I said that in another video. So I took a couple of days off because I really needed to. And when I saw myself, I have the tendency sometimes to step outside of myself and view myself as another individual. And I believe I do that because I remember, well, I don't just remember because it's something in the distant past. I live it. I I am, part of me is still in heaven. Part of me is up there with God and up there with Christ and up there with our Holy Mother. And well, actually, one of my agreements, one of my flights, I did mention it in one of my past videos, I'm not too sure which one, that when she told me that she was remembered in scripture as the prostitute, I just couldn't believe it. My heart just ripped, ripped. And uh, I went, wow, we are so, clueless. We really are in the dark. And what it's really all about, what we're in the dark about, is our existence, who we are, why we are here. Even though it seems like a light message, I'm going to tell you, once you accept that, um, you're really going to be surprised um, how your decisions change. They become more positive. Your actions change. They become more positive. Your thoughts change. They become more positive. You recognize or awake to the fact that you do have this control over your life. You do, even though it may not feel like it, you do have a choice. There is always a choice. Things hurt, and things hurt us as much as we allow events or things to hurt us. Easier said than done, I get it. I'm human. I had to remember, I had to ask myself why I would detach, how I could detach, got my answers. I like to live it, but I'm like every other human being. I feel, I touch, I laugh, I cry, I learn, I study, I experience, I dance, I sing. We all do these things because this is something that I, as a soul, wanted to experience here. I wanted to do it. It's somehow, I felt it would enrich me. I saw we all couldn't wait to come down here, incarnate here, because we were actually uh, given the gift of uh, incarnation. That, I mean, who's going to say no to that? Who's going to say no to that? Who is? That's not, um, it's not a punishment. You know, there's been such a lie put out there, and everybody's bought it. Everybody's gobbled it up. I hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it and hear it, and I just sometimes just want to scream and go, yell at the top of the highest mountain or highest building ever, and just tell everybody to stop and just wake up a moment. Be still. Just be still. Take a deep breath in. Calm yourself, let it all out. Do that a couple of times. That's you controlling your situation. That's you controlling your knowledge. That is one step closer to understanding your purpose. You're acting on understanding your purpose. So the return on that, that's sweet. So why would I want to scream at the very top of a mountain, the highest mountain, or the tallest building? Because without this simple concept, without giving it a thought, you deny yourself all that you've wanted for yourself, me included. Hmm. Yeah, me included. So we go back to remembering why we incarnated and how that can change your life. Like I said, it'll change even thoughts, decisions, what your physical body vibrates according to your spirit, according to your soul. I learned this some time back, couple of decades, we'll say. And when I caught the explanation, I jumped all over it because it was precise in what I knew. And therefore, I like to share that wealth. That is the intellect of mankind. So we're talking all creation, male and female. The intellect sits on a physical body. That physical body sits on spirit. Your wit, your intention, your thought process, positive or negative, your spirit. And your spirit rests on your soul or in your soul. So spirit sits on the soul. Intellect sits on spirit. That's the three bodies of man, the three. And if you're able to put the three together, moving forward, you're whole, you're complete. The reason I wanted a couple of days out is I found myself not wanting to say nothing any longer. There is such a huge part of me that just wants to blurt it all out. Ask me questions. I don't mind answering questions. But, as I always say, if you're going to be mean or you're going to be hurtful, as God is my witness, literally, I believe in all that I talk about to the extent that it's cost me relationships. But in truth, my love for the truth comes first. And I found myself bursting, through my lungs and my heart and my respiratory area. I just felt this burning, and it was like it wants to just like come out of my soul. And that is what's going to happen in events. I love the Guess Who, um, and Burton Cummings, singing, give it to them gently, and for the most part, I practice this. But our time to know the truth and really get it together as human beings, it's not moving along, one, in the direction that it's supposed to, and two, you sure got to siphon through a lot to get to any type of truths. But like I said, we're living in nefarious times, and however long it takes, or whatever direction this information goes, I'm going to trust the fact that if God chose this for me, and to myself, this is the greatest gift of all. I speak the truth, and it usually leaves people wordless, speechless. You know, they don't want to verbalize anything after that because either they don't want, to insult me, they don't want to get into, like, where could this go if they're honest with their truth, and I have to chuckle because it is the banter that is also a wonderful gift that humanity has, pertaining that we all keep our temperament in tow, and temperaments plural in tow, and remember to respect one another, their experience, and their space. So I got a couple of videos. I'm always saying this, so I'm just going to just ramble on. I'm going to make another video right after this because of the fact, and before I wrap this up, um, I I was in a chat room, and if any of you come across this video, please understand, I'd rather take my chance. Sound like a nut. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. Right? I'll take my chances. And I'll take my chances because too much of what I've seen has come to pass. Way too much. And you that know me, I'm gonna put it out there. And I think y'all, when y'all hear me say I'm gonna put it out there, you all understand. And I'm just going to pray it because it is time. Like, we workers need to talk. We need to share this knowledge. We need to share information. It's no time to be afraid. This is a positive time in the sense that information is going to be given to people to share. And the reason is because God doesn't intend for us to die. We die because we choose not to listen. So humans went deaf to the Word of God because God became inconvenient. And that's where this other energy took hold, and that was, hey, look, you're not going to die. You get to live on this earth, you get to live on this earth forever. I will, bless you with, material everything, every sensation you can have fulfilled while you're on this planet earth. And that's fine and that's wonderful. But I'm a little more selfish than that. I know I could have all the money. Money's money. I've had money, I haven't had money. I have been wealthy and I've been poor. That's just, and I started again, again, again. Lord knows. I mean, it's kind of an art now. Because of the fact that I like to create is what I'm really chuckling all about. Um, it really is a time that we need to get real with oneself, and understand that there is a message that needs to be shared because we are living in various times. There's a lot of fear out there. Some things you need to be fearful of. Some things you need to know. And the reason is I'll tell you why. Okay, because some people go, why do some people know and others don't? Why is it that some people can see and others don't? It really just has to do with vibration. Vibration, understanding how God made you, me, everybody else, the earth, the stars, the moon, other planets, universes, galaxies, every every other living being that dwells on these other planets. Um, um, they all know that God exists, which is really super cool. Like all of them know God. That is a fact. That's a fact. Like I said, too many things that I've seen have come to pass to where I had a clear understanding that okay, we've got to do something with this. And it really hasn't been easy. It hasn't. You know, fall into depression for months and cry and cry and cry and ask myself, what do I do with this information? And as I matured spiritually, I just went, because I would always say, are you sure? Like, like, really? You know, what's the reason? Until I started to remember. And I think, wow, thanks. Now, unfortunately, you know, it was through a lot of pain that I remembered. It was. I can honestly say that. But um, I love my kids, my grandkids, and I love people. I don't care who you are. You know, you're a human being, and you're part of us all. Now, you know, the darkness has had the darkness as long as it's had it. It lives as long as we feed it, give life to it. But if we understand our life and we understand why we incarnated here, that very thought will bring your process to other places where you're going. That very thought has a lot of different experiences and emotions that come with that gift. And that gift being your life and the fact that you're born with your own instincts. Learn to trust your instincts, love yourself because you're a part of this world, um, and ask yourself, what what do you want to do with this? Now, I believe, and where I realized I really needed to get away and just not have the laptop in front of me is when I realized I can no longer keep information at bay. It gets to the point where my soul is toiling. It's toiling with grief. It's toiling. And what I am toiling is with time, timing it all, timing all of it. But I know it's here. And um, people don't really want to wake up to that. They don't. You know, I put two videos out that I'm really surprised. I mean, they're gems. The people that do find them, I think maybe it has 4 views. Um, and yet, uh, and that is, I think it's something like Mr. President, uh, there is a web in your swamp, something like this. Um, you click on that, there's little tidbits, like I said, there are gems in there of information that you think, why didn't I know this? It wasn't just myself that heard it. It couldn't be because it was radio. And I thought to myself, I wonder how many people caught this because it makes a difference to understanding your life, where you are with it, socially, politically, um, emotionally, spiritually, um, and all of these things matter. And you would never think with a title like that, um, it would have such a tidbit. The only thing I am going to say is you really want to check out that little video there, and then maybe you'll begin to understand my character. I've I've learned to primarily keep it on a low unless I was asked to focus on bigger projects, and I did. As like I said, I was waiting for timing. I was waiting for the timing, and during all this, I have been given such gems. I do understand that it is for mankind, and when God wants you to hear it, you're going to hear it. And when it comes to who's going to hear it, that's already chosen. I'm just trusting the fact, like, oh, okay, I get it. Um, just the fact that I love mankind and there's that understanding that I do, and I do remember. I think to myself, well, that's just part and parcel, hence John the Baptist and so on and so forth, all the four pre-runners. So I shut down for a weekend because I realized I have to tell the truth. I'm not saying that I lied. I'm saying it's getting to a point that I cannot be coy about it. I have to be very forward, and I am maybe prematurely saying, forgive me if you think I'm blunt. It's only because your life matters. Life matters. My life matters. Our lives matter. People we love, lives matter. We matter. We matter. And there's just such misinformation. Like, it's just nuts. All this, prison planet, and caught up in some reincarnation, whatever, and yada yada yada. You know what? All lie, all baloney. Seriously, don't even get your head around that, because the ones that planted that, the ones that rolled it out, okay, you got to remember, um, there are other beings that are banking, okay? It's like pool, they're banking on certain movements, and by not being careful, we make ourselves vulnerable. And then what? We pass away, we die, and we go, well, shit. Why didn't I make this choice and this choice? And why wouldn't I have been happy? Like, look at what really matters. Look at, and that's all that really matters. And you ask yourself after you die, why didn't you love that person? What was your issue for having issues? Trust me, you do. You really do. And don't even get me on Jesus. Don't even get me on the Lord, because I just want to say hypocrites, vultures. Seriously, what are you teaching? Psh, all for the bling. You know what? You think there's no hell? You really think there's no hell? You really think there is no hell? Or hell is on earth? If hell on earth is because mankind made it, you did, I did, by being slow. We're slow emotionally, not intellectually, emotionally and spiritually. We are slow. But that's because we don't have the correct information. And that's really the problem. People are afraid of saying it for how it really is. And look, man, like I've said, I've cried and cried and cried. And I came to the conclusion that if if I can reach a person and that person reaches a person and double the people and triple the people, trust yourself. Just like you in Arkansas, trust yourself at the right time. You and your little sissy, you know, you're going to be helping people, directing people, because as souls and human beings, we know. LOVE, it matters. When we die, what are you going to think matters? You think you're just going to die, that's it, lights out, you're done, no more, kaput? That's it? That's the beginning and end of your existence? Oh, wow. That sucks. That sucks, man. You got that thought process. That really sucks. You must be an angry person because you're not denying yourself. You are denying yourself all the love that is inheritedly yours, just because you were born. You don't want to deny yourself that. Life really is a beautiful thing, but if we don't come around and we don't wake up and we don't look at, then it's all our own fault. There's no other way around it. And when you look at why, it's because we are spiritually slow. Why? Because if you talk truth, people want to shut you up. You know, you become an inconvenience for somebody down along the line. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't happen that way. And unfortunately, it is. So I thought to myself, I cannot continue to feel like I'm hurting somebody by giving them the truth. I would much rather them recognize the fact that I respect you enough as a human species like myself to say, heads up, heads up, heads up. I'm saying it because it needs to be out there. And it does. It needs to be out there. It needs to be said. Or why was it brought to me? Why was I brought there? When I say to people, Isaiah took me there. And the other day, you know, because this is difficult, I'm always talking to God. I'm always talking to uh, uh, all of my loved ones. How about if we put it that way? You know, and pleading the fact that it's so much bigger than me, and you you know, and I just keep hearing, I'm trusted with it. So they've got to know me. So I have to share this. I have to share this because it's not just my message. I remember the agreement. You know, maybe because I am such a ham, it doesn't register. You know, in a negative for me. It just doesn't register negatively. It literally is, hey, look, you know, you've got to give somebody a heads up so they can take care of their own and set themselves up and protect themselves and the people that they love. You know, it's like having a newspaper. It's the exact same thing, you know? It's like having a crow. You know, at the crack of dawn, it's going to tell you what time it is. And instinctively, you're going to understand that call. The information's the same way. So I found myself really hurting because of the fact that it is so important for people to really know what they are going to be up against. They call this mongering, fear mongering. Okay, that's what they call this. And I've been praying because I've been asking for help in finding another word that I can use to replace that. Period. And why I say that is because it all comes from God. All of it. All of it does. And like I've said at the beginning of all this, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for who I am. And I'm not going to apologize for my experiences. Sometimes I have to stop to think, you know, I'm a woman and I get it. When I look at all of it, I get it. And it is so simple that, like I said, you know, God and our holy family, our holy parents, who incarnated, who created us, that we incarnated. Um, sure hell wasn't us. And some of you can be, yeah, the Anunnaki, Anunnaki, Anunnaki. I know. And let me tell you something. Okay? I did ask at one point if they could see me or hear me because of the different times that I had seen. And it is to a time coming. They are going to be here on this earth. And there are some things that people need to know that are going to be necessary. And there's enough information all around us that there is no contention. Those days are long gone. You either get with the program because science brought us there, and people in high chairs and high places, high seats, they've laid it out. What we once read in comic books is now a reality. Um, what we were taught was illusion and this and that, and on. There again, that's a reality. So I stayed away, and I do feel a lot better. But I've come to the conclusion, like I said, um, it has to be that way. It has to be this way. As crazy and as bizarre experiences I'm going to share with you, um, I will tell you that through our interaction, you will find yourself feeling light and lift and dump a lot of garbage and a lot of lies and having the sensation of freedom, feeling, taking deep breaths and exhaling and having a sense of security, a feeling of security, a feeling that your world is right. And that is by just embracing the truth about things, about all things. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said, I had to really think this past 48, 72 hours because I found myself in this chat room just bursting with, I've got to say it. I've got to say it. I've got to be honest. I've got to say it. And what freaks them out, but it's also, I give it to them as well. Yeah, I give them it. I guess I give them a way out by further sharing of information that, one, it would be, here's Johnny, here, it really is like that. And so half the time they go, oh, she's a kook, she's another one of those, and yada, yada, yada. And then there are others that you do feel. Whether you agree with me or not, I know you feel. And it's supposed to be like that because I am connected and I do connect. And I understand, for the most part, the power of energy. And this energy, by and by, I like to use for healing. hmm I mean, I've got a temper like everybody else. And I have to back up and go, didn't mean it, didn't mean it, I'm so sorry, didn't mean it, and, I shot myself down in flames. uh, and I always like to try to stay on top of that because that can fester in all of us, bitterness and anger and resentment and all that, just all that stuff. It's 24/7 until the day we die, that we have to keep ourselves in check, like check ourselves out, be honest with one another, or I should say one another. Yeah, double aspect of yourself, or all three. Your human intellect, your spirit, and your soul. You got to have all three intact, and that's the modern man. Now that's the man whole, and that's actually Da Vinci, I believe. Yes, in his drawings of uh, figures and numbers, brilliant. So is Newton. But anyway, okay. So sacred information. Um, if you cannot handle what I got to say, and you want to watch it just for amusement, do so. Please do so. The only thing that really matters to me is sharing, sharing. And the reason I would like for that to happen is because it's the right thing. Now, I'm not in charge of the floodgates. Um, Others are, and I have to trust that. I do trust that. I don't have to. I do trust it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have I wouldn't be making these videos. Okay, so I apologize for my bluntness, but I do come from a a divine love for all of us, because I remember us, and there's been a whole lot of trash, whole lot of garbage. Like, why are we being told aliens are demons? Why, do people think that you remote viewing is demonic or negative? Who gives Satan all that power? Like, seriously. And you have to think, because the person that we think might not even be the person that we think, the adversary, the administrator of. Like, don't get me wrong. Very real. Don't get me wrong. Very real. We have to be divine in our thought process. And what I mean by divine is understanding the, quote me, mathematics of this creation. Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I remember one of my flights, I popped in and popped out, and I wanted to go back there. And I wanted to go back there so bad, I wouldn't let up, to the point where I know I got annoying. I know I did. Um, but it wasn't anything that I did often or did before. And what it was I popped into a time frame, um, um, that I saw Isaiah sitting on the ground, and he had parchment and ink, and he was looking up at the heavens, and he was mapping and charting and um, um, taking that knowledge and writing it down in the form of uh, math and notes. But these notes were associated, sound was associated, which would be sound, associated with science. And as we popped in and popped out, I was like, wait, who was that? Wait. I want to go back there. I want to go back there. I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to see what he saw, what he was about. And when I think of it, um, it is because of, I'm not sure if it was the first time, but it was definitely memorable. I'm going to say it probably wasn't the first time, but it was definitely memorable. And that's when I was taken and shown Mystery Babylon, and I fell to my knees. I fell to my knees. I prayed like you have no idea. I cried, I looked up at God and all that was happening all around. And I still feel it. It was like my soul was wounded. And now's come a time where I need to speak of this. That's what ultimately I felt. I am so sorry for being so honest and so blunt, that if I came across disrespectful, I never meant to. I really didn't. It's just, all lives matter. All lives. All lives matter. And when you look at the beauty of it, because when I was brought back to that period of Isaiah and I was plunked there, um, I think it was my love of figures and numbers that attracted me. There is definitely waters above us that are moving like this, and the very same waters are down below and still moving like this. And I saw the beginning and the wonder of creation in itself, and uh, wow, so beautiful. It really is by design. I was just in awe, and my soul was elated. And it gave me the desire, because I felt so much joy. It gave me the desire to once again um, um, assume assume the responsibility in saying, "Oh, okay, I can share this because mankind can satisfy themselves by having the proof, and this proof is via mathematics." I know it sounds crazy, but you definitely know God's thoughts, and you can definitely know God's speech, and you can definitely know what God said word per word by understanding the mathematics. Those are other videos. For now, like I said, in these videos here, hey, look, I've got to, it's as simple as that. And all else fails, let it entertain you. I mean, sup, right? Okay, so I'm glad I took the time out. Again, like I said, I apologize, but moving forward, um, I'm gonna say, look at, I don't want to fluff things. I don't want to butter things. I don't want to feel like I am shooting off a bomb by saying, hey, look, don't call me a hater. If I was a hater, why would I be doing that? Do I look hard up to you? I am not. Hello. Mm-mm. I am doing this because let it be somewhere that the truth is somewhere. Somewhere. Let it be somewhere. And hey, surprise. Okay, I'll see ya. Share it. Share this video. Share it. If you want to just share the knowledge from my videos, do it. Please do it. You're going to find that you're going to be able, okay, to read the proof, whether it would be from scripture or the internet, or well, I guess the internet is the only place you really need to be, because you have accessibility to other via information, ways of information to the average individual that when I was growing up or a teenager did not exist. So that in itself, get the proof. Know that I'm not full of it. And what I am full of is LOVE, baby. LOVE. Okay, on that note, like, thumbs up, subscribe. You can do that. And be kind, be cool, be cool, be cool. Just be cool. If you want to say something mean and negative, I'm telling you right now, don't. Don't. Because I really am at a place where I find I cannot refrain from speaking the truth. And I know that if pushed, I just want to shove right back. And then what? I mean, it'll be a tango. And by the way, I'm not talking about adversity. I don't believe in adversity, but I do believe in healthy banter. I'll put it that way. And I don't mean by mean words or mean statements or anything else. Uh, no, intellectual banter. And why that is because of my intentions and because of the information and because I can say, Google it. I could also say, okay, ciao amore, ciao ciao, ci vediamo, no?